Welcome to the deep dive. We often think about battlefields in terms of land, sea, air, maybe even cyberspace. But what if the next big strategic space isn't really a place at all? What if it's built on, well, a fundamental law of physics? We're talking about tiny particles of light linked together and tangled across the vastness of space. Today, we're diving deep into something pretty groundbreaking: quantum communications satellites. It sounds like science fiction, I know, but it's about building this futuristic network that promises truly unbreakable encryption. It could honestly revolutionize cybersecurity as we know it. Our guide for this deep dive is the work Quantum Communications Satellites, the Future of Hack-Proof Networks from EarthScope Studio. So our mission today is to really get into what happens when this super advanced quantum tech actually leaves the controlled environment of the lab and gets launched up into low Earth orbit. We'll explore the intense global race that's unfolding between superpowers and, frankly, what the stakes are for all of us. Because let's be real, right now we're kind of living in an era where encryption, the kind we rely on every day, it's showing its age, it's cracking. Our current cybersecurity is built on what people call classical security. These are, traditional math-based methods. They basically rely on making it really, really hard computationally, hoping a hacker's computer just isn't fast enough to break the code. But the source material highlights something pretty sobering. In 2023 alone, over 6 billion records were breached.
6 billion.
Mm.
That's an incredible number.
It really is, and we're talking everything: passwords, private medical details, even top secret military intelligence, all compromised. And often it's not even some, future quantum supercomputer doing it. It's just these algorithms we use are getting outdated. Just think about it for a second. What if someone, anyone, could actually read your secrets before you even hit send?
It's a really chilling thought.
Yeah.
You put your finger on it. That reality means we are genuinely living in the twilight of classical security. Those old mathematical walls, they aren't really holding up anymore against the sheer scale and, frankly, the sophistication of the threats we face today. We're kind of past the point where just adding more complexity or bigger numbers is going to keep everything safe.
Okay, so if that's the problem, this growing weakness in our digital world, what's the solution? And this is where quantum entanglement comes in. It used to be purely science fiction, but now it's a proven way to link tiny particles, like photons, across huge distances. And it works in a way that just doesn't make sense in our normal classical view of the world.
Exactly. Entanglement means these particles, these photons, are fundamentally linked, inextricably.
Yeah.
So if you measure something about one particle, you instantly know the state of the other one, no matter how far apart they are. Miles, thousands of miles, it doesn't matter. But the really revolutionary part, the reason this is so powerful for security, comes down to a core principle of quantum mechanics. It's often called the no-cloning theorem.
No cloning, meaning you can't just copy it.
Precisely. You literally cannot make an exact copy of an unknown quantum state without fundamentally changing or destroying the original state in the process. And that inherent property makes it incredibly resistant to eavesdropping. Any attempt to sort of listen in, even just looking at the quantum state, causes it to collapse. It instantly alerts both the sender and the intended receiver that something's wrong.
So it's like a built-in alarm system baked right into the physics.
Exactly. It's based on the fundamental laws of nature itself, not just complex math problems.
And like you said, this isn't just theoretical anymore. This quantum future, it's not way off on the horizon. It kind of arrived already, didn't it? The opening shot in this whole new quantum space was really fired back in 2016. That's when China launched the world's very first quantum communications satellite.
Amacious.
Right? And it wasn't just a proof of concept that maybe might work. It was a stunning success.
Yeah, the reports were incredible. It successfully sent entangled photons between the satellite in orbit and ground stations over 1,200 kilometers apart.
It's a huge distance. It's not just a technical feat, is it? It feels like a massive statement.
Oh, absolutely. Misha sent a very clear message to the entire world, scientifically and politically. It basically said, the quantum future isn't something we need to wait for, it's already starting. That one satellite really shifted the global conversation about what was actually possible with quantum tech outside the lab. It proved this unhackable communication could genuinely span vast distances.
Which explains why, well, the race is definitely on now. It's global. It's not just China pushing the boundaries anymore, is it?
Not at all. You're seeing major efforts now from the European Space Agency, big defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, and even, interestingly, private companies jumping in. Firms like Pineapple Labs and ArcKit are planning whole constellations of these quantum-ready satellites.
Right, whole network up there.
Exactly. And you've touched on a key point. The motivations behind this race are really diverse. and quite powerful. Governments obviously want that unbreakable security for defense, for intelligence, especially given the vulnerabilities we were just talking about.
Makes sense.
Banks, dealing with trillions of dollars, they need absolute undeniable trust in their transactions.
Yeah.
Ironclad. And then, maybe a bit ironically, you've got the hackers themselves. They're driven by the ultimate challenge. Is this really unhackable? Can we break it?
Yeah, I can see that.
So all these forces together create this incredibly fast-paced environment. Everyone wants to get there first, wants to master it.
Okay, so we've got the basic physics entanglement, no cloning. But how does this actually work in practice? How do you use it for secure communication? The core technique is called quantum key distribution, or QKD.
Right, QKD.
And here's a really important point for you listening. QKD doesn't actually send your secret message like your email content or your bank transfer details. Instead, what it does is create and securely share a unique cryptographic key.
Think of it like a one-time password, or maybe the unique pattern for a very specific lock. But this key is generated using those quantum principles. Then, once you have that perfectly secure key, shared only between the sender and receiver, you use it with a traditional encryption method to actually scramble your real message. The quantum part is all about getting that key there securely.
So the quantum magic protects the key itself. And if the key is secure, the message scrambled with it is secure.
That's the idea. The genius lies in protecting that initial key exchange.
Okay, so let's talk about that protection. If this quantum key is so vital, what happens if someone does try to intercept it while it's being sent from the satellite? Can you actually tell? Because, that's often the big problem in cybersecurity, right? You don't know you've been hacked until way later.
That's where the real beauty, the real power of the quantum approach lies. Because of that no cloning principle we talked about. If even a single photon making up that quantum key is intercepted or even just measured or observed by an eavesdropper, that act of observation fundamentally changes its quantum state. It collapses it. And the system knows. Instantly.
Instantly. Wow.
Yes. The sender and receiver immediately detect a disturbance, an error rate spike. The transmission of that specific key is then just aborted. Canceled. Before any compromised key material can actually be used.
So no damage done.
Exactly. You just discard that attempt and generate a new secure key. It's a wonderfully elegant, yet incredibly robust concept.
The source uses a great analogy. It's like having a door that slams shut the moment a shadow crosses it.
That's a perfect way to put it. Any unauthorized peek triggers the alarm and locks everything down automatically. It ensures your key exchange, and thus your communication, stays completely private.
This feels like it goes way beyond just being a cool science project or, a complex physics puzzle. The implications, especially when you start thinking about the military side of things, they seem huge. This isn't just science anymore, is it? It feels like a critical piece of modern power and conflict.
It absolutely is. In today's world, with AI shaping narratives, drone warfare becoming common, constant cyber attacks, the ability to completely shield your own command and control communications, that's arguably as vital as having a powerful weapon system. Maybe more so.
It's about having certainty in your own clans while being able to sow uncertainty in your opponents.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You've really nailed the core of it. This kind of capability could fundamentally shift the balance of geopolitical power. The source material puts it quite bluntly. Whoever controls this emerging quantum web, they could potentially control global power dynamics.
That's a heavy statement.
It is, but think about it. If your strategic communications are truly invulnerable, completely shielded by physics, and your adversaries are not, or are even just potentially vulnerable, that creates an almost insurmountable strategic advantage. It's not just about having better information anymore. It's about guaranteeing the security and integrity of your own communications, period. Communication invulnerability, that changes everything.
But it's not only about military power and, global strategy, right? Beyond the battlefield applications, this quantum tech promises to touch something maybe quieter, but just as crucial. Our personal data, your data.
Yes, absolutely. Think about the places that hold our most sensitive information.
Like hospitals, managing incredibly private health records.
Or banks, handling our entire financial lives, every transaction.
Even the integrity of democratic processes, like elections, which depend so heavily on secure data transfer and storage.
Exactly. All these sectors are under constant attack right now, facing breaches, ransomware, data theft. It's relentless.
So imagine a future, and this is what the source hints at, where your DNA test results from a lab, or your bank login details, or even the record of your vote, travels through space, maybe via one of these satellites. Protected not just by complex code, but by the actual laws of quantum physics, making it completely unhackable.
It's a vision that offers just unprecedented levels of privacy and security. For individuals, for institutions, it could really change our whole relationship with the digital world, moving us away from this current state of, well, constant anxiety about security, towards a future where trust is almost built into the fabric of communication itself.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for this quantum web potentially forming above us? Today's internet, the one we use constantly, it's basically built on physical wires, fiber optic cables, and frankly, quite a lot of hope that the current encryption holds and nobody's listening in.
Yeah, hope is a big part of the current strategy. But tomorrow's internet, or at least parts of it, might literally ride on beams of photons, entangled particles whizzing invisibly above the clouds, untouchable by conventional means, and theoretically truly unbreakable. That shift from relying on computational difficulty to relying on fundamental physics, that's a monumental leap.
It really is. But the source ends with a bit of a caution, doesn't it? It says something like, beware. Because in a world where data itself is increasingly becoming a weapon,
Yeah.
even something as fundamental as light could potentially be used for darker purposes, the quantum revolution has definitely begun. That much seems clear. The only real question left hanging for all of us is, who is ultimately going to own it? Who controls this powerful new infrastructure?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it?
Definitely something to keep thinking about, the incredible power of this technology and who gets to wield it in the years to come.